serious car injury crashes. Black people all over the country are disproportionately affected in these fatal crashes, especially in large cities like Charlotte. So take that information, do what you want with it. Sharing is caring. And yeah, let's pick the mood back up. Who's ready to hear some poetry tonight? I'm gonna need y'all to do a little bit better when feigning excitement for me, okay? Cool. Or at least be a little more excited for our poets. So that being said, a couple of rules. Naturally, when our poets go up, we're going to give them some love. We're going to respect the microphone, so please no talking while we're in the middle of creating some artwork with our words. And yeah, I'm gonna bring up our first poet for the night, Moses Oaktree. Yes, sir. Give it up. Give it up. Give it up.
How's everybody doing tonight? I'm gonna warn y'all now, I'm dramatic. All right, for those who don't know me, that's nobody in here. I'm from Columbia, South Carolina. Feel free to follow me on IG at MOSES_OAKTREE. Bars. Not a laughing crowd. Okay. All right, so I am coming to this transportation event tonight, and I had to do some thinking on my way over. I'm not a car guy. I don't have poetry about cars or streets. I'm not really from the streets, so I have all the places that I've been, all the places that I'm trying to go, and where that might lead me. Started thinking about roads, started thinking about bridges to where we are now and where we're trying to go. I started trying to get deep, and I stopped. So what I decided to do instead was maybe talk about the places that I've been able to go, and I've been blessed to be able to go because of the roads that have been built out for me. Yeah? All right, cool. So speaking of the places that I've been able to go, I've gotten to live all over the South in different times and spaces. I'm from Aiken, South Carolina. That is a real small town in South Carolina. Moving from Aiken, I used to live in Charleston, South Carolina, a really beautiful place. If you haven't been there, I highly recommend it. Moved from Charleston to Atlanta, Georgia. Moved from Atlanta, Georgia to New Orleans. Moved from New Orleans to Greenville, South Carolina, and back again, and I'm in Columbia now. With that said, I've gotten to go to a whole lot of places, see a whole lot of things, and meet a whole lot of really interesting people who have had an incredible effect on my life, right? And I know that everybody here has had, similar experiences. Gotten to go to places, see things that maybe they didn't expect and have been affected in ways that maybe they weren't necessarily ready for. One of my favorite parts about having traveled is going back to places that I once found home, right? For instance, last time I went back to Atlanta, I got a little bit of history. Does everybody know that Atlanta wasn't always called Atlanta, right? No. So Atlanta used to be called Terminus. Yeah, somebody, yeah, Yeah, I got you. And recognizing that we're talking about road, street, architecture just in general. Terminus as in terminal, as in people are coming together, meeting and going about their separate lives back to other places. You realize that the streets that we live on, the streets that we drive every day are a part of our everyday culture, right? Like, it's more than just the streets that we ride on. It's the people that are riding beside us, the ones that darn near hit us on the exit. That's just me coming from Columbia. And you recognize that it does have an effect on you daily. My personal theory is that the people in Atlanta are extra crazy because the traffic is extra crazy, right? So with that in mind, the people here in Charlotte, we should take extra care and recognize that, hey, the streets that we're in we have a effect on the people that are right beside us in the car beside us, right behind us, in front of us, and we should take care to recognize that it's more than just us on those roads each night, right? Having been to Atlanta recently, I got to meet up with one of my friends. He's going through a whole lot of stuff, but he was telling me, hey, since the last time I saw you, I'm having a child. He said, because I was a poet, that it would be an honor if I could help him name his daughter, right? And I'm like, Yeah, man. Names are a blessing or a curse. Every time you say someone's name, the name's meaning reactivates. When you recite someone's entire title, a certain kind of magic goes to work, right? I asked him if he has ever considered Keisha. It's Swahili and Hebrew. If you put its meanings together, it means favored in life. Or how about Monet, French for descended from the protector? Or how about Tierra? It's Hebrew and Latin. It means crowned and of the earth, right? And he said, nah, man, I ain't feeling those names. But I'm hearing you. What else you got? I said, all right, cool. I feel challenged. I got ready to give him my best. Well, how about Elise? It means noble. Or Charisse, it means cherry. She'll be righteous or sweet as the fruit. What about Rhea? Tranquil as the river. Or how about Monica? It means unique. What about Vanessa? It means butterfly. Or Octavia, the name of a writer. What about Vivian, full of life? Or Viola, which means violet. What about Rosa, which means rose? Or Marie, wished for child? What about Harriet? It means ruler. It's a personal favorite of mine. Or how about Shamika? Hindi for kind. Or Rhonda, Welsh for noisy. Or he said, let me stop you right there, man. I ain't feeling those. But I've been hearing you. I know what I want. I've been considering my suggestions, and I think I'm gonna take all of them. I said, well, you gonna take all of what? And sure enough, y'all, it wasn't long before Lakeisha Montiera, Ali Sharila, Monica Nessa, to Viviola Rosa, Marie Hari Sharonda Jones was born. And since every time you say a name, the name's meaning reactivates, so every good night and good morning, her parents had to say, good morning, Lakeisha Montiera, Alicia Rila, Monica Nessa, Viviola Rosa, Marie Hari Sharonda. Every time she did her chores, hey, do them dishes, Lakeisha Montiera, Alicia Rila, Monica Nessa, Viviola Rosa, Marie Hari Sharonda. Every time she left the home, it was, hey, have a good day, Lakeisha Montiera, Alicia Rila, Monica Nessa, Viviola Rosa, Marie Hari Sharonda. I met Lakeisha Montiera, Alicia Rila, Monica Nessa, Viviola Rosa, Marie Hari Sharonda Jones one time. And she was beautiful. She was clever. She was really good at sports. She asked me about her moniker. And I said, Lakeisha da bumpin' dum. Lakaka. Keisha, baby, you are favored in life. You are descended from the protector. You are crowned of the earth. You are noble and sweet and tranquil and unique. You are graceful as the butterfly, wise as the rider. You are full of life and beautiful as the violet, romantic as the rose. Your parents wished for child. You are a ruler, you are kind, and you are also kind of loud. She smiles, wipes a tear from her eye as I relay all the ways that her alias is made. She say, I knew it. I knew it. I knew my parents had to love me, to give me that long old name. Baby names. You can clap. Yeah, that took me a long time to memorize. All right, so I've been around. I've seen some things. I've gotten to do some things. I feel very blessed. I feel very, very fortunate in life sometimes. And being a poet, it doesn't always pay financially, right? But usually it pays, like physically, like sometimes psychologically. I get to yell at people and, they're okay with it. It's cool. So I feel like this is a very y'all, everybody in here looks smart, right? I'm serious. Like, you step into some rooms and you're like, corridor of shame. South Carolina joke. With that said, I feel like everybody here has a little bit of an artsy side to them, right? Like, y'all wouldn't be here otherwise. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Like, I know some of y'all got like black notebooks filled with like poems like you would give to like Drake. I mean, maybe not Drake, but like for those who see what I'm doing, maybe are like, hey yo, he's alright. I could get on the mic. I could, I got words I want to say. I want to share. I want to be able to affect people with my words. I invite you to do so. By maybe bringing you to my shoes. I am 5'4" and wear size 7s, but if you could fit them, you are a poet now. Step on stage. Let the lights fill you. Let them heal you. Breathe. Tell the audience that you don't sing, then trick them by singing a little. Oh, when the saints go marching in, oh, when the saints go marching in, oh, how I want to be in the number. Tell the audience you're not a love poet, but if you were, it would sound a lot like this poem. Don't forget your poetry voice. Instead recall your trauma. Let it fill you. Feel it building. You do this because you love it. Remind them you are not a love poet. Instead, lower your voice. Raise your voice. Change the intonation. Swap syllables with symbolism. Switch up the alliteration. Stop. Dream. Idealize. Idealize your suicide. Idealize your suicide again. Cut your belly open on stage. It takes guts to stand up. Show them to everyone. Once they've all fallen out, what do you become? You're a poet now. Your job is to bleed gracefully. They'll even judge it. They'll say what it was and what it wasn't. They'll say you didn't bleed enough for them, but your wrists have been mangled by your story. Your veins are pouring. You're bleeding. It's freeing. It's freeing. Get free. Get free. We are not hollow men. Shake off your skin. Find the love within. Find the love within them. Resonate. Resonate till your pupils dilate, till you can feel the beating of their hearts. You trained for this. You prepped for this. You've been memorizing poems. The lines are stuck in the walls of your house and your car because you love this, because you love them, because you're bleeding, because it's freeing, and it makes you think about God. So you talk about God. So you talk about God in all your poems and about what sacrifices are for. If when you step on this stage, it feels like your home, you should remind them and remind yourself that we ain't spitting no love poems. Thank you. All right, so that wasn't a love poem, but it was a love poem. Y'all want to hear a love poem? Yeah. I got one. I think it's okay. Everybody, we got a lot of single folk in here? No, everybody's a couple? That's cool. Come with me. For a long time now, I'm a poet. I believe in romantic things. I think, everybody has like a spiritual partner that, can very much manifest in a physical world, yeah? I'm a romantic. I'd be lying to myself. But with that in mind, in a past life, we were lovers. In a New Orleans summer so hot the fans couldn't keep us cool. We doused each other in ice, made love, fed each other fruit. There was a parade beneath our window. It felt almost like heaven. We pinky promised each other we would be in love forever. In the next life, I was a Tuskegee Airman. You were my plane. You set me free. I guided you through the sky. You gave me wings. You carried me. We fought battles together, won accolades and medals, knew each other inside and out. And then came the fateful day when they shot us both down into the next life, where you were a flame and I was your match. Every day was bright. You were always dancing. I was your partner even when blackened by burns. You were a light in this world. Our love was too short. In the next life we were lovebirds. Literal lovebirds. Every day a new song made of color. Amethyst and amber, we'd duet the sunset and the sunrise. You were the light of my eyes. I love you. I love you. I love you. I remember when you passed away. I could only sing the blues till every song lost its hue. How long I've been longing for you. In the next life, we were a statesman and his wife, and our love smoldered for our family and our culture, and our children were beautiful as water lilies on a lake of light. When you passed away of old age, I swore I'd find you in the next life. In the next life, we were beings without names and worlds no man can conceive. We did not see as man sees, nor hear as man hears, and yet still there was this sense of you. What doesn't die must be true. I remember the first star that broke through to guide us back to our love. It might have been for too long, for in the next life we met when you were not but ash and I was the wind. And I carried you in a state of mourning, and yet still you danced in my arms having found me. And I told you of my longing as we flew across the sky. I carried you then into the next life where you were a tree and I was a tree, and our children were the forest and the ivy clothed us, and all we could do was grow in our love. And so we grew in our love until the fateful day the storm came and knocked us both down into the next life where you were a water lily and I a lake of light. We promised each other our love would never die. We promised each other our love would never die. For what doesn't die must be true. So here I am in this life, this next lifetime, with you. Thank y'all. That's my time.
Hell yeah, that was good. Okay. Y'all still with me, Charlotte? We still up? We still up? All right, we're going to turn this entry up. Okay, so coming to the stage next, and I apologize because I was supposed to read a bio, so I'm going to go ahead and read this one now, and we're going to catch back up. Coming from Columbia, South Carolina, we have Moses Oaktree. His work has been featured in curated showcases and art festivals, captivating audiences with his unique fusion of realism and imagination. Through his art, Moses aims to evoke a deep appreciation for beauty of nature and the complexities of human emotion. There we go. Shout out to Moses. Okay, next we have Queen Nefertiti. You still here? Where you at, baby? Yes. Born and raised in Liberia, West Africa, we have Queen Nefertiti. She is a high school teacher in Charlotte whose mission in life is to fill the world with positive words.
they will have me after that extraordinary human being, right? But we're all in this human experience. Again, I go by Queen Nefertiti. I'm a proud product of Liberia, West Africa, and my superpower is teaching AP history to high school students. So history to me is important because it kind of let us see that, again, life is all about little stories, and once you connect them together, then it becomes a beautiful experience. So of course, when I got this information about this event, I'm like, how do I talk about traffic signals? I'm more of a storyteller because traditionally growing up in West Africa, oral stories was the way the elders entrusted that we would know our history and be able to someday let the youth in them know their history. So, of course, the teacher in me decided to do a whole lot of research. Of course, I was familiar with Garrett Morgan, but it only makes sense. But for this to work, I'm going to need interaction from all of y'all, okay? So, red light means? Green light means? Yeah. And what does yellow light mean? Slow us down. Of course, this is a universal signal from the rest of the world. But before I start my performance, I figure we have to always summon the ancestors who have done their stuff for us thus far. And we hope you enjoy our performance. This moment, this is for the ancestors who understood that if they had to arrive on southern shores with nooses on their neck and on their arms, that it was best for them to jump into those waters. Because they understood that history would never often write their story in the first place, so they took their own fate. They stood there on ships as they were standing. I can only imagine that they were praying that God would trouble the water. And there they were, dropping into the water just to take all their burdens away. Now, we arrive on the southern shores of America. As the slave got off the ship, they were told that they were only 1/4 of a human. I'm not sure about you, but that only means 25% of a person. I'm not sure where the other 75% really is. But here goes somewhere in Kentucky in 1877, a little boy named Garrett Morgan. There he was in his bed, the seventh child of 11 siblings, constantly trying to figure out in this world that tells him that he would never fully be grown, that told him in the first place that he was incapable of learning. The nerve of him to sit there under the night sky, constantly trying to figure out how to make the world better. Little trick kids, his mother would say, you need to just go and sit down and do something else. Don't you know you're wasting all your time, Garrett, trying to come up with all these inventions, and the truth of the matter is, I need you to go and work out them fields just like I am. Of course, red light means stop. There he was, a black man in the South in those times. He had no choice but to stop. Those rules were put in place to make sure he stopped. Of course, he understood that being black in America, once upon a time, not too long ago, that he was told that he would never fully be grown, and the nerve of him to actually think he can invent something that the world will appreciate. Of course, again, like I said, red means stop. Stop, boy, stop. Don't you know who you are? Don't you know your constraint? And then, of course, right in the middle of all that stopping, Garrett had to remember he had to go as well. Go, Garrett, go. Green light means? Go. Yellow light means? Slow down. Red light means? Stop. Of course. Now there he go. Go, Gary, go. Leaving Kentucky. He left at the age of 14 years old to Cleveland because his mama believed there were going to be better opportunities for her family. 11 chaps. What is she going to do with all those kids? Gary was right there in Cleveland at 14. Decided the nerve of him to invent the first form of a gas mask. There were some miners in the mine, as the story goes, and they were stuck. Nobody had no idea how they were going to come out. Gary and his brother decided to try their form of the gas mask and see how many lives you'd be able to save. He was able to save 2 lives that day and actually pour out 4 corpses where the family would have been sitting thinking where their body was. Of course, it may seem insignificant within these times, but it was very important at that moment because Gary didn't realize that his limitation or the things that were going to hold him down was not going to work anymore. So, again, in 1920, there he was, right there in Cleveland, and realizing all around him was chaos. Because we understood in those times when Ford made their first cars, there was no rules to the roads. Everybody could drive just the way you want to. I'm sure somebody like me growing up from New York would have appreciated that because we just want to go. But anyways, back to Gary. So, the safety of the roads in 1920s, its first form of the stoplight was invented. Invented to help save lives, invented to show that a black little boy from Kentucky too can dream, that a black little boy who was told that he was only 1/4 of a human, that he would never fully be grown, can invent something that everywhere in the world understands that red light means stop, green light means go, and yellow light means slow down. Of course, he had to slow down just a little bit because in those times, nobody was trying to listen to a black person who was going to invent something in the first place. So Garrett thought in his slow down moment as he tried to sip the coffee or take in the scenery, he realized the best thing to do at the moment was to hire some white actors who would go and let the rest of the world believe and think that was their invention, because he understood the world would be more receptive to that. So that's exactly what Gary did, but he had to realize eventually at the end of the 1930s that he too sang America, he's just a darker brother, that he too deserved to get a patent in America for his 1/4 of a brain or his 25% of a brain. So there he was, that little boy from Kentucky, now in Cleveland, changing the world, making sure that folks are able to leave their home and return back safe, making sure that people understood the only way we could all function together is understanding and respecting the safety of the road. So go, Gary, go. Go, Gary, go. Go, Gary, go. Go, Gary, go. And now you can just slow down. For Gary Morgan.
Coming for to carry me home.
Mr. Willie Lynch stood on the James River Bridge in 1712 and spoke to his white counterparts. He said, I heard you got a problem on your hands, the nerve of these Negroes to refuse to work these plantations and messing up your crops. Who was Willie Lynch? Willie Lynch was a brutal slave owner down in the West Indies who formulated the lynching system and understood that if every white slave owner within the South followed these rules, that black people, regardless once they left those physical plantations, will still be stuck for over 300 years to come. He said, brethren, this is simple rules. I promise these rules are so simple that even your wives and your children can follow these rules, you see. And the most important part of this rules, he said, make sure all your white overseers understand one thing. When you see them, you only see them. No separation. First, let's separate the old from the young. Can you see where we at right now? I say old folk don't even talk to young folk no more. How we going to become a better people? When we understand that knowledge has to be trickled down, that the old folks have to talk to us for us to understand what they expected from us in the first place, because Sankofa tells that in order for a people to move forward, they must understand, but most importantly, accept their past. Yes, bruised and battered past. I said broken past. Don't go there, boy past. Don't go there, girl past. But still being stuck. He said once we separate the old from the young, then of course we got them right where we want them to be in the first place. Never relying on the elders. He said then of course once you do that, you must have mastered the art of separating their men from the women. You see where we at right now? Half of the time I said the mamas are left with the babies are going crazy, the daddies are nowhere to be found. He said if you follow these rules, I promise you the black man and the black woman will always see a division within themselves. Then what we're going to do, we're going to break them like a buck. I said we're going to belittle their men in front of the black woman. The black woman is going to see that their black counterpart can never protect himself in the first place. So always relying on the system or the white man to liberate them. He said, and then we're going to do things to the women right in front of the men that their natural urge is going to want to jump up and help, but because they're broken like some good old bucks, they got no choice but to sit and watch. And now this black man is going to see this black woman, instead of trying to help her, he's going to feel this disgust in her for allowing master to do whatever he wanted to do to her. And then there goes this separation between the black man and the black woman. He said, then once we got them separated, we got to make sure those mamas raise those babies, because if those mamas raise those babies, they're able to implement into them what we want to be implemented. And then of course, after you're done, you come on down to the good old colorism theory, because we understand that envy is a better emotion than anything else. I said, let them see differences when they see themselves. Let them sit there constantly comparing, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the prettiest of us all? Kinky, curly, coarse, curly, doesn't matter. When we see them, let us constantly remind them one is better. We're going to put some up in the house. They're going to look down on the ones down in the field. And the ones in the field is constantly going to keep looking for liberation from the ones in the house. And the ones in the house is going to constantly remind them that you ain't like us. So he said, brethren, on the James River Bridge, if you follow these simple rules, I've traveled across the oceans and the seas. I mean, you have summoned me down here from the West Indies. If you follow these rules, I promise you, these black slaves, even after they're gone off these plantations, they will still have nooses on their necks and their mental plates, and there would just be people lost, never ever able to look into each other's faces and truly seeing themselves in each other. And once you master this art, brother, I promise the black race will be stuck for over 400 years. Imagine, we're only in 362 years, so about 40 more to go. I'm not a math teacher, I could be wrong. That is Willie Lynch theory. Thank you.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday.
It's that Black History 365 days a year. I said, I'm black like that. I mean, I'm magic like that. I just be trickling gold from the top of my head to the soles of my feet, just like that. They say, girl, you better calm yourself down. Don't you know you're supposed to have these constraints on you just like that because you black like that? And then when I respond cocky and everything, they say, why are you black people always so cocky like that? Why can't you just chill sometimes? Why you just think the world is against you like that? Why you think this system was built in the first place to keep you down like that? Because it was. And then I say, it's 365 days of black like that. I say, I'm so black like that. If I was in those times, I mean, on them plantation, Massa ain't going to have no choice but to say, hey, Magic, because I'm magic like that. As always, thank you for being a part of the experience. You're magic. Of course, our ancestors were told that they would never fully be grown, that those seeds that they planted on southern soil would never sprout and be able to stand on their own. You're 1/4 of a human, 25%. But look at you now on these same southern soil where your ancestors worked the earth, the same southern soil that told your ancestors there would never be anything. Look at you now, beautiful offsprings of the ancestors. You're magic like that. Thank you.
Give it up. Make some more noise, man. That was great. That is the history teacher we all needed in high school. We are going to go into a brief 20-minute intermission, so please get some refreshments, get a drink, use the bathroom, and we're going to party for a little bit. Cool? Cool?
I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black.
I'm seeing old friends, new friends, glad to meet new people. My name is Sierra Richardson. I work for the Charlotte Department of Transportation with the City of Charlotte, and I am our Strategic Mobility and Vision Zero Outreach Lead. So this is our first event of the year. Thank y'all so much for being here. Yes, thank you so much. So I know that some of you may know a lot about Vision Zero. Some of you maybe are just learning about it. And so we want you to leave educated tonight, and please share with your loved ones what you learned. Vision Zero is a global initiative that we have here in Charlotte, and the goal is to end fatal and serious injury crashes. This is a huge problem that we're seeing, and it's preventable. So we want to remind folks to slow down. The speed limits are there for a reason. I know you got to get to where you're going. You got to pick up your kids. You got to go to the doctor. You're trying to make it to the store. But please adhere to the speed limits. We're trying to keep you safe, and we want everyone to make it home safely. Also, distracted driving is a huge issue. I know it's the technology world. You're on your phone, but it can wait. You're worth it. So please do not drive distracted. Also, driving under the influence. I know some of you are enjoying some beverages tonight, and we're glad that you're supporting Canteen, but we want you to be smart and safe about it. So please don't overdo it. If you happen to overdo it, please get a ride, do a ride share. Just be smart in the decisions that you're making, because they're not only going to impact you, they will impact the others around you, which we've already heard tonight. So that includes bicyclists, pedestrians, folks who are rolling, skateboarding. We don't want anyone to get hurt just because they're not in a vehicle. We want everyone to be safe. So again, the event tonight is The Way Words Travel. We have to shout out Frank in the back, because Cameron and I, we had some words that we were brainstorming, but he truly put those words together for us to have this event tonight. And I want to remind everyone that word of mouth is so powerful. It's one of the best marketing tools that you can utilize. So I really want to encourage everyone tonight to remember what you learn here, but also to share it. I want to ask that you share about Vision Zero and traffic safety with someone that you love by the end of the week. But if you want a bigger challenge, do it throughout the rest of the year. We would love for y'all to do that. We don't want tragedy to happen to you for you to have to care. So please continue to enjoy the evening, and before you leave, stop by our table to get more information. To learn more, you can also visit charlottenc.gov/Vision Zero. And then we also have Facebook, CLT Transportation, and we have an X account as well, which is Charlotte DOT. So please get connected with us. Thank you so much for your time. I'm going to turn it over to Cameron before we get back into the spoken word. So please show your love for Cameron.
Not too much, guys, not too much. Okay. So they asked me to come up here and speak about my experience, and if you work with me or you know me in life, you know I am a chronic yapper. I love to talk. But they asked me to come up here and talk about myself, and I'm like, I'm nervous. But I'll tell you guys that before I got this job, someone who helped me get into the city asked me, how do you make young people care about traffic safety? And we just live in such an individualistic society now. People don't care until it happens to them. And I know 2 years ago, I'm still in my 20s, I thought I was invincible until I was crossing the street and I was hit by a car. And that's before I even came to Vision Zero and knew about Vision Zero. I was hit by a drunk driver crossing the street in South End. I was in a crosswalk. So just know that crosswalks do not protect you. The only thing that can protect you is being a defensive pedestrian. And just because you don't walk to places, just because that's not your most popular mode of travel, just know when you're walking to your car, even if you're walking from your apartment to your car, you are a pedestrian. So you have to make sure that you're aware of your surroundings at all times. Distracted driving is a problem, but distracted walking is also a problem. I know, and I'm sure you guys see too, you're crossing the street, and you see people just looking down at their phones. And if it wasn't for you as a driver stopping for them, they might not even see you coming. So always be aware of those people. Another reason that we're here tonight and celebrating this during Black History Month is in Charlotte, and for the last 5 years, Black people have been between 50 and 60% of fatalities and serious injuries on our Charlotte streets. So a lot of Black neighborhoods are on our high injury network, and it's very important, like Sierra said, that we carry this message to our friends, our families, and the people we love, because until it's too late, you don't want someone to care, or you don't want to be the person that doesn't care until it happens to you or someone you love. So just carry this message forward. It's very important. I know that sometimes it's very stuffy and we're getting a little serious, but that's because we do care about every single one of you. And my favorite part about this job is that when I go to events, I get to be the person that tells people, I do care about you, and I care that you're going to be here tomorrow. So now, everybody, we can have fun and just, think about what I said tonight.
ma'am. Woo! Yeah, make some noise. Come on. Yeah, we have 2 more poets tonight. Yes. The next poet coming up, I'm introducing to you is Nikki LaDon. Nikki LaDon, yeah. Make some noise. Come on. Yeah. Yeah, that's more like it. Nikki LaDon is a multifaceted performing artist with a love for storytelling. Come to the stage is Nikki LaDon. She aims to tell world-building stories with everything she does and embodies storytelling in the most dynamic form.
That sounded really nice. I forgot I wrote that. Thank you for that. Thank you for that delivery. How y'all doing tonight? Y'all can do better than that. How y'all doing tonight? Ooh, now I believe you. My name is Nikki LaDon, like Megalodon, the biggest fish. You can find me on Instagram at nicki.ladon. So when I get started, a friend of mine told me that they hate that I do disclaimers before my poetry, so I just made it a poem instead. Can y'all hear me all right if I don't use the mic? All right, sorry. Mics make me uncomfortable. It's like my height, all in my face. Memorize the rise and fall of my vernacular. I'd say I'm spectacular, but that's low-hanging fruit. See, this mind of mine is as divine as the God I see in you. I'm God's mailroom. They see wings on my shoes, an angelic kind of groove. I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot me. Ignore me if you like, if you can, which I doubt. But look, man, hear me out. Not that you have a choice. Because this voice is filled with might. It can take a hit. It can pack a punch. So much trouble, I don't need no mic. This voice has battled mountaintop winds, seas of screaming children. You can't tell me the hairs on your neck aren't raising off your skin, that this room ain't shaking, that this earth ain't quaking, that this voice don't pack vibrations, vibrant enough to rival rushing rivers riding against the banks to think that this voice would tremble. I'm just a symbol. For heralds, travelers, thieves, merchants, hermits, and still I am the original orator. Some call me Hermes. They see feathers on my ankles. Akin to Jane Doe, I'm unnameable. Some call me Django, Jane. See, I won't free you like Mary, but these high notes carry insight so intense it'll shatter your window pane. Yeah, that might be vain. But wouldn't it be a shame if all this vigor flowing through my veins mimicked mediocrity so much it allowed my magnificence to go in vain? Yeah, see, that's been done before. And I'm far from insane. I used to be a trickster, though, playing the modest game. But the magnitude of these vocal cords are far too skillful to be skipping over praises as graciously as this speech meets skyscrapers' wings beset my back, ankle, and tempo. This mind of mine is much too divine to be simply considered fly. But when I'm tempted to tweak the tempo, I just might take flight. Gesturing for justice over jet engines. Didn't you hear me mention I don't need no mic? Beware the bass that bellows from my beatbox. I'm Nietzsche's dark thoughts. This voice articulates only art, whether I'm introspective, irate, or influential. I'll chat with the past just to let the time pass when I'm feeling existential. I instructed the Incas just to hear an instrumental. I mumbled melodies over meteors to omnivores about oil wars, filling in with fun facts about how fatality is fundamental. I'm done being gentle. I'll direct the depths of my dialect to dilute natural disasters. I'll shoot the breeze with a hurricane and flash flood it with so much utterance it's distinguished as a heat wave. I'll talk down the tides of tsunamis, mudsliding with monologue, moving enough to untangle tornadoes. This avalanche artistry could humble volcanoes, using cyclones to drown droughts with diction deep enough to reinstate tectonic plates. Pardon my spiel, but you ain't talking nothing slick to an oil spill. So here's the deal. Don't mind my manner of speaking. It's made up of meticulously mapped mannerisms molded to motivate the masses to move to whatever is best for you. Don't shoot me for the delivery. I'm not the movement, the martyr, or the mastermind. I am just the messenger. Thank you. And now I have a message. I'm going to give you 3 short poems, and then I'll tell you a story about poetry in motion. Hella halos hovering over hospitals, housing humans with heavenly hips and holy hue. He'll lie and play savior with a stem cell view. He'll lie and tell you that they lack the proper tools. He'll lie and tell you that they had a grand breakthrough. He'll lie and let you die a savior just like he lied too. Henrietta lacked nothing except the soul they stole, mining in her blood diamonds digging for gold. Gold diggers with trigger fingers, finger painting poverty soapbox with blood soaked on the pavement. Late payments, arraignments, and unemployment claimants, police statements, derangement, and family displacements, and those of us that make it were just for entertainment. I can't take it. That jagged jargon, juke, and justice, it's hard to not be jaded. It's hard to not be faded. It's hard to not see what we built for free and not hate it. I can't take it. When in danger, he'll play savior, but don't believe the hype. Don't let him tell a soul in sight we ain't put up a fight. I fight for my I-cord. That's fluid in the veins of the gods. There's hieroglyphics of my hue held sacred walls all abroad. He's the fraud. Like he lie, I'm your Lord and Savior. Crucified at the crux of this goddess behavior, that Eve gene so supreme, call me your maker. Did a light year long bid and made you from my rib. And in my image, God was made with power to birth a kid. And look what you did to her. You took her soul and then her life and claimed you pioneered with her. She should disappear and leave you. Keep it up and she just might. The way God's in danger, perishing at the hands of devils in the night. And I can't hear the cadence that cadence, we gonna be all right. Because she don't see God in the mirror anymore, just contour and highlights. I'm pained at such a sight. Of hella halos hovering over hospitals, housing humans with heavenly hips and holy hue. He'll lie and play savior with a stem cell view. He'll lie and tell you that they lack the proper tools. He'll lie and tell you that they had a grand breakthrough. He'll lie and let you die your savior just like he lied too. Can we get a clap? It's just thank you. It's a little tense. All right, I'm gonna make it a little softer. I can be a little intense, so I'm gonna bring it down. I used to think when I had nothing, all I had was my pen. That what I was scribing was just words, when they were more like a lifetime observed. These words be what my daddy called ebonics. When I'm spiritually ill, these words be my tonic. Feelings of a phonics, these words be iconic. I was never good at spelling though. Scribing love in my notes as A-A-V-E. Praying for spirit to come in S-A-V-E, me. This time won't you save me. These words be early 90s R&B melodies. These words be music to your ears. The courage to face your fears. The whisper in the wind that validates your tears. The whisper in the wind that validates your tears. These words be black magic in a museum at night. The spell cast on your conscience that forces you to write. The spark that brings your inner child to light. They be the silken waves that float your boat. The bitter taste of emancipation lumped in your throat. These words be the gift that keep on giving if you use it. They be jazz before jazz was considered music. When poetry in motion was just a banging on the rib cage and sax riffs were just airway. And rhythms of the heart were just sax riffs that ripped airways apart and had no lyrics at all. These words be notes to a native son about wild seas and the harder they fall. These words be love. Love that's easy, like a Sunday morning, or set you free when you're in mourning. Or love that's down to earth. Come down with me like the cold you'll get trying to avoid my kitchen because you said it was too hot for you. Now you're coming down with the flu, trying to avoid this love, and I know that it's killing you. These words be just poetry on its worst day, but freedom on its best. These words be what the soul speak when you're out of patience with the flesh. These words be love. These words be spoken before loved ones. These words only gotta be loved once. These words, they love us. Because who else is gonna give voice to these words? That's all I got about these words. Thank you. All right. So, as you see, I'm talking a lot about black women. I did some research on this topic, and I was really excited about this event. And I was like, man, I'm so excited to talk about this Black Adventures, this Black History Month. And the more research I do, in my basic searches, I only was getting black men. I thought that was so weird. Especially considering some of the most simple things that we use every day were made by black women. So I was like, man, well, where are we at? Where are we at? You know? And I know exactly why we couldn't find us. Because, you know, a black daughter cried today. A black mother's wide awake. Because a black woman died today. Black women are at the stake. For heaven's sake, would she give to take a deep breath, to breathe in something less toxic than oxygen? It's been up 10 years from that song sent to Solomon that allowed him to fly away as a milkman, to be breastfed from the motherland, the amount of milk of magnesia needed to purge her of herself, releasing all the things she keeps trapped in her shell, reluctant to shake her shackles in hell, perfectly content flexing her cell. Adding addiction to a cellular phone, trying to contact a home she forgot was known, too far away to feel homesick. Jumping through Saturn's ring, such a silly thing, the thing she do for a wedding ring. Adding antithesis performances to become someone else's perception of perfect. Becoming basic, battling belittlement, battery, bigotry, blasphemy, to say the least. What I would like to see is a return of she. The black woman, sipping from the universe, bathing in the moonlight, belting out her latest verse. Her umber skin outshines the sun and reflects back the finest gold, so I've been told. She's a light worker against any display of shadow play. They tried to force her to the high road, but instead she takes the Milky Way. Bearing on her hips the rings of Saturn, diamonds ray down onto her matter, cocoa powder glistens on the base of her foot as it skims the ground should she ever come down from her rightful high horse that she was crucified for. Not even gravity itself would try and attempt to bring her back down. Thank you. So, back to these inventors. You know, we can't find us. It's really hard to find us. Do y'all know who invented caller ID? We use it every day. You don't even know who invented it. GPS? No? Oh, interesting. See, because when I did all this research about Garrett Morgan, I also found that the reason he made the traffic light is because he witnessed a really bad accident at an intersection. And that is ironic. And we're going to talk about it. So can I tell you a short story? Oh, I don't believe it. I'm nervous now. Can I tell you a short story? Oh, thank you so much. I'm going to tell you a short story about poetry in motion. It's not just shifting from a fixed to unfixed position. It's wondering how we would even get there without black women. It's black women saying, fine, I'll be the only one in here going full throttle if that means I can show someone's little black daughter that it's possible. So she can push start a little sooner and go a little harder. Because no matter if the traffic signal says that green means go, it's incredibly hard to set forth on a path that you don't know. Because black women be unfit for global recognition when we hold global positioning everywhere in the palms of our mind. Did you know that the GPS was invented by no other than Gladys West? Thank you. Moving consciousness everywhere from point A to point B, holding black mobility on the small of her back, right above the kinetic energy that she's so powerful that only connects with those who understand that poetry in motion is more than just words. I'm going to run this back. I'm going to grab my phone because I memorized this, but now I'm losing it. It's new. Can you grab my phone, please? Thank y'all for being patient with me. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it. So I'm going to tell you a short story again about poetry in motion. It's more than just shifting from a fixed to unfixed position. It's wondering how we would even get there without black women. It's black women saying, fine, I'll be the only one in the room going full throttle if that means that I can show someone's little black daughter that it's possible so that she can press start a little sooner and go a little harder. Because no matter if the traffic signal says that green means go, it's incredibly hard to set forth on a path that you don't know. I mean, black women be unfit for global recognition and yet the global positioning everywhere rests in the palms of her mind. Did you know that the GPS was invented by no other than Gladys West? Moving consciousness all the time, everywhere, from point A to point B, mobility of the black thought always resting on the small of her back. you know, right above, the power is so kinetic, it only connects with those worthy enough of understanding that poetry in motion is more than just words. It's knowing the revolution is calling because Shirley Jackson made caller ID for you. It's the burden of an overgrown baby we lovingly named society, clung to her and yanking on her teat, despite the child of trauma offering no love in return. Didn't they warn you about biting the nipple that feeds you? As an act of discipline, you are denied access of the black woman's body, and yet she still offers you the feeding tube. That was Bessie Griffin's idea. Because how classless would she be to leave that which she nourishes with every fiber of her being hungry? And yet it still finds a way to weaponize her womb. The warmth she gives time and time again to the village be used to burn her down, when her womanhood won't be stationary enough for complacency, so ethereal they think she's a witch. Because she be the radiation that soothes your broken spirit on cold, lonely nights. So she parked her magic in her heart, and with her hands invented central heat. Valerie Thomas whispered to me, I know the revolution won't be televised because if it would, black women would already have it ready to play in 3D. I mean, there'd be no way to televise revolution if it wasn't for the black woman that invented closed-circuit TV. It's keeping a close watch on all God's children like Marie Van Brittan Brown, a security camera, if you will. It's an act of the crown, the way black women protect everyone. It's an armed Haitian mother with a machete to the neck of her oppressor saying, take that gun away from my son or you too will meet your maker. It's Gloria Richardson moving a bayonet out the way because simply put, she was not afraid. It's the strength that won't budge because no one anywhere does more for any group than the black woman does. It's irony most times though. Like how a majority of the Black Panther Party were women, and yet most of you can probably only tell me 2 of their names. Because the answer to black women's existence is erasure. Relocating her shared history to March and leaving February for only Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks, and all the black men. As if progress pumps its brakes at intersectionality. There's a nasty crash at all intersections if we dare bask over the beauty of the black woman's body. So Garrett Morgan invented the traffic light. So you would know when it was your turn to chime in on the black woman conversation. Or just hold your horses for a bit. But before I leave, I just want to say this. If there's nothing else that I do, understand that any conversation about black women anywhere will always be poetry. Poetry that moves you. That's all I have today. Thank y'all for y'all patience with me. Thank y'all so much. Thank you, Frank, for having me. All right, I'm done.
Give it up, give it up. Great job. Great job, Nikki. Yes, ma'am. This brings us to the last poet for the night. Maestro, put your hand up, please. Where you at? There we go, there we go. Maestro, come to the stage, everybody. Okay, so Maestro is a multifaceted artist and social entrepreneur, excelling as an executive creative and performing artist. His work seamlessly blends artistic innovation with social impact, reflecting his commitment to both creative excellence and community development. Everybody, give it up for Wiz Maestro.
Thank you very kindly. Thank you very kindly. All right. Let's see. I might get to raise this up like this. All right. So that was my introduction. Again, you can follow me on Instagram, Maestro the Guru, MaestroTheGuru. Today in this world, I'm going to first give you a selection on today's, I guess, mentality of a lot of us as a society, and really reflective all the way to the top, as in leadership politically. And I guess today my standpoint is coming from a socio-political standpoint. So the first selection is called Reflections in the Water. I am a mirror, the glint in the glass, the reflection you fear but can't help but ask, am I enough? Nah, scratch that. Am I more than enough? Because enough isn't enough for someone like me. See, I wear a crown forged in my own image, a kingdom of one where I am the sun and all the stars know their place. Orbiting, bowing, admiring my grace. I hear the whispers, narcissist, as if the syllables are a curse. But to me, they are a hymn, a melody of admiration sung in reverse. You see this smile, this mask of pride. Pull it away, it's been retouched, resculpted, and rearranged inside. But if you look close, you'll see a void so vast that it reflects you back. See, in this kingdom of mirrors where my face stares back at every angle, I am the hero and the villain, the light and the shadow. I love myself, not the way you love someone else, but the way a flame loves the fire it consumes. I'm sorry, the way the flame loves the air it consumes. I shine, I burn, and yes, I destroy. But tell me, if you had this fire, this hunger to be seen, this feeling to be heard, to be the answer of every question, wouldn't you do the same? Don't lie, I see it in your eyes. You're staring too long, just like they all do. But while you point and judge, you secretly wonder what it feels like to be untouchable, to be the center, to be me. Secretly, the paradox that I live with is that I crave your gaze, but your love is like chains. So I push and I pull and I leave you confused because I'm confused too. I am a kaleidoscope of contradictions, beautiful and fractured. Turn me one way, I'm shimmering pride. Turn me another, I'm terrified inside. And if you ask me if a narcissist feels, I'll tell you this. I feel everything. Too much and too deep. I just smile with a smile so blinding you wouldn't think to look away. So while you call me whatever you like, a mirror, a monster, a masterpiece undone, I'll tell you that I'm not the enemy or the villain in your story. I'm just trying to survive mine. Mirror, mirror on every wall, do I exist if I can't see myself at all? Reflections in the Water. Thank you. All right, and you know, that's a little rusty. I'm still sprucing up on that one. And the one for this evening, this is the first time I'm performing it. I wrote it specifically for this evening. I like to kind of be challenged for prompts and things like that. So I put myself definitely to the test with this one. So please bear with me. This one is called Lines and Lessons. I remember Prince Hall Elementary, where teachers taught us about Garrett Morgan. the man who gave us colors to command the streets. Red, yellow, green, like a holy trinity of order amidst the horns and revving engines. I was a bright-eyed kid chewing on mystery meat in the cafeteria. I never knew a traffic light could hold so much hope. It could keep chaos in check, like a shepherd holding a colorful staff. He was a visionary, Garrett, like a maestro who sees symphonies in silence. Red, yellow, green. He said, stop, slow, go. But it was deeper than that. It was painting boundaries in a world. It was painting boundaries for the world to see. It was for us to basically have something where we did not have to collide in the same intersections. Prince Hall taught me to paint inside the lines, color inside the lines, wait on walking signals, cross when it's safe. But outside the school gates, I saw lines get blurred. Folks crossing into territories they had no business stepping into. I grew older. I grew older. My eyes got wider. I'm talking traffics. You see, more than just traffic. It was human trafficking. It was drug trafficking. Cars weren't the only thing speeding through red lights. Deals done in broad daylight. People being sold like cargo. No signal to slow that down. No color-coded caution for a child stole or a body traded. Like I said, I grew older. Eyes open wide on city blocks, fast cars screeching, crosswalks beeping in staccato, people playing with fate. One toe on the curb, the next step on a crack. And all the while I can think of Garrett Morgan, how one invention kept us from colliding and crashing into each other head on. Still, what about those unseen collisions? What about those deals done in the darkness? Where is the light that shines on those backroom deals? Where are the sirens for the spirits stole? Where is the caution tape for the broken homes? It's easy to follow red, yellow, and green when it's painted bright, hanging overhead. But the darkest collisions and the darkest traffics are done, and they happen in the hush. Still, I hold that flame, that spark from my childhood, the one ignited by Prince Hall Elementary, where knowledge was our seatbelt, where hope was the gas pedal. I'm going to get a reference. Yes. Garrett Morgan told me that one person could rearrange the map. that we are all lost in the swirl. So now I stand in intersections, physical, spiritual, societal, and I see colors in every decision. I see stop, wait, go. Some days all I see is red. Stop signs for progress, blockages in the heart of men. Other days I see yellow, a cautious yellow, where we inch forward, unsure if we should proceed. And sometimes we get that green, full throttle, unchained, no fear. I want a world where we stand tall like the truth, in the middle of the traffic, directing chaos, guarding crosswalks from nightmares. I want to see sidewalks safe for every child, where folks aren't stole and minds aren't controlled by the poison in plastic baggies. I want to remember that little kid from Prince Hall Elementary dreaming of a future where we all come together and we know how to yield for one another. This is a poem. This is my poem, a caution sign, a colorful warning that we have to do more than just watch the road, but that we have to shine bright on all forms of trafficking. We have to know how to yield to the signs and come together. So let's keep pushing forward. Let's remember Garrett Morgan and his visionary gift, a simple set of colors, red, yellow, green, a cosmic rhythm that let us know where we come from and where to go. Lines and lessons. Thank you.
Okay. Oh shit, I'm loud as hell. All right. Are we still up? We're still up? Okay, cool, great. I think that concludes the night, right? We got any final words?
This is way taller than I knew it was. Thank y'all again for being here. Thank you to those who are watching online. We really appreciate your time and you sharing your evening with us. We want to thank Dammit Wesley for being here with us this evening, giving us the music and helping the flow of the show. We would like to thank Frank Expression for pulling this together with us and being a great partner. Yes, thank you. Thank you to all of the poets for sharing your words and allowing them to travel with us when we leave here this evening. And then we also want to thank Canteen for allowing us to use this beautiful space. And we hope you enjoyed it. Please travel safely, and we hope to see you next time. Thank you.